Well, good evening, everyone. May I have the floor?
Sure.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalia Drozdova. You have seen me in previous streams, particularly these late night shows where I'm often having fun, laughing, cracking jokes, and frankly enjoying dark humor. Unfortunately, tonight I must begin this stream on a much darker note than I would prefer to, particularly for these laid back late night streams. We need to discuss Russophobia. This is a phenomenon that we have seen particularly rise up over the past year since the beginning of the special military operation in Ukraine that was launched by Russia. There are many Russians that are suffering right now as a result of the special military operation, not only in Russia from the economic sanctions and shortages, but additionally abroad, is the result of people who simply do not know any better, being hateful for no reason other than to simply back up their love for their temporary profile picture on Facebook. This is not meant to lessen the struggles of other communities, but Russophobia has not been discussed enough, and I wish to play a part in changing this. To be clear, I am an ethnic Russian woman, and my family does come from the Donbass region, the exact region that this war has been fought over, coming up on 9 years now. Since the war started, the special military operation began in Ukraine a year ago, personally, I have experienced identity erasure in many aspects of my life. From something as simple as a work badge, not being able to say Donetsk on it, to a previous relationship where my ex, my then boyfriend, insisted on calling me Ukrainian because my family comes from a region that is legally part of Ukraine, although culturally very much not. Being told by others that my family is Ukrainian, despite us speaking Russian, coming over on Russian passports, going to Russian Orthodox Church for centuries. To something as small as being unable to acquire products from Russia. For example, this vodka right here is as close as I can get geographically to Russia. It's Ukrainian. With a proud statement at Total Wine & More saying that they no longer sell Russian products and that each and every sale of Ukrainian vodka goes to support the Ukrainian government, or as they say, humanitarian causes. There is no secret that the Ukrainian government has been corrupt for a very long time. Defending this government in a world where a special military operation was launched against it by a much geographically larger country is not a justification to call Russians bad people. It is something that I have heard and, frankly, is a sentiment that is expressed all too often by the Western media. Russians are called Nazis, while the exact fact that the Azov battalion even existing is continuously denied by many, if not all, Western media outlets. Certainly all Western-style media outlets. And as I said before, each and every day, countless Russians are struggling as a result of the special military operation. There is mobilization ongoing. There are economic sanctions leveled against the country that make life all but impossible to live. A simple credit card issued by Visa or MasterCard no longer works in the country as a result of these sanctions. YouTube creators are unable to take paychecks. Patreon creators are unable to receive the financial support so graciously given to them by their fans. Sanctions have only made the living conditions in Russia even worse. Ever since 2014, when the West backed a coup to overthrow Viktor Yanukovych and instead installed the chocolate man, Petro Poroshenko, in charge of the Ukrainian government. The Ukrainians have not suffered as a result. Instead, Russians have suffered. When a group of ethnic Russians in Donbass fought back, they were labeled as Nazis by the West. The same people who died, or rather are related to those who died in the Great Patriotic War, better known as World War II here in the West, fighting back the Nazis, being called Nazis, it makes no sense. In fact, even my name on here, not Natalia Zakharchenko, I'm sorry, I misspoke, but is actually a reference to the first leader of the Donetsk People's Republic, one of the two main organized separatist governments in East Ukraine. The DPR and LPR have been fighting for their independence for nearly a decade. They're not allowed to choose their own destiny. We hear all the time from Western media, Ukraine deserves to choose their own destiny.
I mean, realistically, we don't get to here either. I know the point you're trying to make. It's very different, but
yeah. And I'm just giving you one more moment to finish up, please.
Yeah.
We need to understand that Ukrainians are not the only ones suffering from the special military operation. In fact, Ukraine is being given quite a bit of support from the West. So, in order to move on with the rest of the show, and before I do, I ask all of you to please contribute to end Russophobia. If you see someone calling Russians bad people, please call them out on it. Russians, both ethnic, living abroad, and in Russia, need your support. Thank you, and let's get on to the fun stuff.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of that, quite honestly, I've been very vocal about my hatred for Putin, and I don't think that should ever be translated as my hatred for the Russian people. And I think it's so free. It's always lumped in together. And the sad part is the reason why I hate Putin so much is because of my love for the people, the Russian people. So that's the reality of it.
Exactly.
Okay, so now that we've had the most depressing, sad and tragic monologue ever in the history of late shows, or at least since 9/11. I think we'll. But no, honestly, I do appreciate you. Yeah, no kidding. You're amazing, Talia. Yeah. Amazing.
So basically, in reference to that, is I wrote the outline for that monologue in about 9 minutes before the show, so it was a bit of a last minute thing, to say the least.
Not rehearsed, folks. She's Frank Sinatra. She does it in one take.
Well, I mean, at least it's not. At least you're not Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Old one take Talia. That's what Jack Warner used to call her. Nobody knows who Jack Warner is. All those people are dead. Let's read some of these comments here. Felix Smith, my mother was born in Russia, came here young. When I've talked about where my family comes from with someone I was trying to be friends with, he went on a hateful rant, surprising to me, being that he's just some random dude in Missouri. Yeah, like, honestly, it's surprising to me that people, like, are always afraid. Like, I lived in New Hampshire for a while, and everybody was like worried like that if we went to war, that things were like they were going to be the first ones to get attacked. Like New Hampshire was the main target. Like,
of course it is New Hampshire.
Oh, I'm gonna buy a hazmat suit because I'm afraid somebody's gonna deliver me some anthrax. Like, all right, who knows who you are? Okay, random dude at Walmart.
Yeah, the level of concern over that is pretty hilarious. And it just goes to show how little people know about military targets. Because for example, it's like St. Louis, Missouri would be one of the first cities targeted by the Russians, because Scott Air Force Base is like the fucking logistics hub of the country. Like the second most important base outside of the Pentagon. Yeah. Which is something that people it's like, no, like St. Louis would be fucked with nukes.
Well, the whole reason why I'm saying that, about that whole scenario, is not militarily strategic, but what I'm saying is like this person is so hateful about something that has so little impact in their life. They're angry with somebody for being ethnically Russian. That's just so weird. Like,
Yeah, it's a level of hatred that I can't even fathom. And I will admit, like, it's not even like a capitalist issue, frankly, because I know people who identify as socialists who are also being extremely hateful towards Russian people. But like in a way, like for a while, I kind of had a bit of a lull, like with with how open I was with being Russian and all that, right? Like basically, like May 9th was the one day where I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like this is a big holiday. And then after the war started, I was like, "Okay, maybe I'm gonna like or before the war started, like up into it, like kind of toned it down a little bit because I'm like, it's whatever. Like it's who I am. I don't have to like be necessarily open about it unless there's reason to be." And then I would say probably just a month ago, actually, because it's actually been 4 weeks ago to the day that I broke up with the ex who was insisting on calling me Ukrainian. And it's like it wasn't until shortly after that I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like I'm tired of being fucking vilified or having to hide who I am as a result of it.
what a weird response to something. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
Russian. Oh, I'm hearing Ukrainian. Did you say Ukrainian? No, it's Russian.
Well,
Yes,
no, because
Ukrainian. I thought that's what I heard.
Because it's like my family's from Donetsk, and that's like another thing too that kind of cracks me up is people are like, oh, Donetsk, that must be in Ukraine. I'm like, no, there's actually two cities of Donetsk. There's the one that is in the portion of Western Russia, aka Eastern Ukraine, and then there's the city of Donetsk that is currently legally recognized. It's like a border city between the de jure maps of or is it de jure or de jure? But of like the legal maps of Ukraine and Russia.
Du jour would be of the day.
Yeah, whatever the fucking law is. My brain's tired because I'm in law school.
Okay. Well, I'm fine. I just trying to speak legalese. It sounds like me trying to speak legalese, just throwing in like, yes, and officer, I know my soup du jour.
Okay, yeah, so it is. So it is de jure. Yeah, so the de jure maps of Russia and Ukraine, it has like
Maps
a
of the
border
day.
town. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because I was like, what's the other term? I'm like, it's de facto. I'm a
Yes.
fucking pine cone.
Did you call me pine cone again?
I called myself a pine cone.
Oh, okay.
But I did call you a pine cone before the show started. Yes, I did.
And it was because I was getting ready to come on air, and I wasn't here yet. So these two chuckleheads decided that they were gonna call me a fucking pine cone because I want to drink before I get on air. I need a beverage by my side.
I mean, I have my wine, so I'm good to go.
I was filling my vape tank. I like Rob's hat. Listen to that. Old school rap. What old school rap are you listening to, James? I got to hear this. Are we commies? Well,
so I guess I'm actually not.
I am.
Yeah. I'm a socialist.
So,
is that okay?
Is that okay? Well, I mean, apparently not for the House of Representatives.
No.
Pine cones.
Good lead in, Rob. That was excellent. You're learning, buddy. Transitions have traditionally not been his strong suit, but tonight he's on it.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
transitions have always been my strong suit, apparently. So
Oh my god.
Epic. Yeah, so do we want to talk about that? Rob, you want to lead us into the discussion on
Let me pull some shit up real quick. But yes, I do. It's absolutely ridiculous. So like, and the timing is not a surprise, right? So like, we're in a general state of unrest. Okay. Food is expensive, energy is expensive. Jobs aren't paying enough to, like take care of yourself, let alone raise a family. And the House of Representatives just passed a bill aiming to denounce the horrors of socialism. But the United States voted no on condemning Nazism at the UN. So, like,
Makes sense.
Which
That
I
makes
will
sense.
note that almost all of Europe, with the exception of the old Eastern Bloc countries that are not controlled by the West, voted in favor of it.
You know what the problem is? We play nice, and the other side doesn't. And to clear that up, to make that to kind of weed that out a little bit. What I mean by that is, I'm a freedom of speech purist. I believe in complete freedom of speech, and there's nothing better than free speech. And the only thing that can drown or that can kill bad speech is more good speech. So I really truly believe that the minority view needs to be protected. Right? I know I'm not real popular among my comrades for that
You're not
view.
alone. You're not alone here, though. Like, I do agree with you.
So okay, good. So there's that's my logic, and that's how I feel about it. I know among leftists, it's a minority opinion, which is why I feel it should be protected. Anyway, so um, but the other side doesn't feel that way. They don't have people on their side who are like, yeah, Nazis don't want you to have freedom of speech. They don't care for that. And these people, for all of these freedom of speech rallies that we saw that supported Nazis, okay, that were propped up by the Proud Boys. I don't know if you guys remember these freedom of speech rallies, but they were just coded, dog whistle Nazi rallies, and we see them talking about freedom of speech in Milo Yiannopoulos, and I need my speech protected because I should be allowed to be nasty to minorities, right? And that's real irony. Now that that side is still is passing legislation to condemn a view that they don't like. It's tragic. It's complete irony and
It really
hypocrisy, and it's
Oh,
going to
completely. Fucking-completely. It is.
So, like,
It's tough for me, especially. But please go ahead.
I mean, no, you go ahead. I should have waited.
You're good. I genuinely cannot say how much it pains me. Genuinely pains me to see the United States, country I've lived in my entire life, to not condemn an enemy that we fought a war against.
Yeah, that's weird.
We spent however many billions, if not trillions of dollars in today's money just for inflation, defeating a fucking enemy that my ancestors fucking fought and died trying to eradicate. We can't even vote for a fucking resolution to condemn that shit. Like, yeah, I know Russia proposed it, and they're the bad guy of the day, right? Like, they're literally it's like, oh, hey, I support the current thing. Like, that was literally what the U.S. was doing. Yeah. And it's... I feel like that's what Go ahead.
We have a fine tradition in this country of supporting losers. We've got monuments all over the South dedicated to traitors.
There's a book,
country, which is ironic.
There's a book called Places to Pee in the South. And it's literally just a bunch of Confederate monuments.
I'll drink that.
That's terrific.
But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what the bill is saying, right? And I also want to point out that 109 Democrats joined every Republican in the House. 109. The resolution states that socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into communist regimes, totalitarian rule, and brutal dictatorships. Its specific condemnations of the horrors of socialism focus primarily on the brutal communist regimes of 20th century authoritarians like Stalin and Mao. Note, though, that they don't, they've never condemned Hitler. They've never condemned Mussolini. But it deliberately makes no distinction between those regimes and more contemporary leftist projects with commitments to democracy. For example, in the resolution, Stalin is puzzlingly grouped together with late Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez.
Yeah.
This wording is coming from MSNBC. If you can't guess
I have
that.
I have the actual resolution pulled up on Congress.gov right now. And
yeah, I was gonna go to that in a minute, but I wanted to. I saw that when I was looking for this, and I wanted to point out.
Also, just to be clear, we're not saying that all those people dying was a good thing. We're not saying that was a good thing, right?
Well,
obviously, it goes without stating, because I just know some right wingers probably like, oh hey, you guys didn't fucking condemn the other people dying or whatever. I'm like, no, that's fucking bad too.
I am going to say, though, that it seems like the goal of this bill is to, codify in some weird kind of way the big black book of communism.
Oh, definitely.
They're shooting for that 100 million number, which even the authors have, years ago walked back on.
Yeah, because, if you do the math it just doesn't add up to 100 million.
No.
But remember, facts don't matter.
Right. And that's why the authors were like, well, a lot of these individual numbers that we use to get this 100 million figure were, kind of made up at times. And at other times, they're counting things like people who would have been born but weren't as a result of famines, which, by the way, we had one in the 30s here, too. We called it the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Right. I mean, you get the point. But, for Stalin's totals, though, they count the people that died fighting the Nazis and the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a preachy bunch of fuckers tonight, huh? This is.
I mean, a little bit.
I mean, this is what happens.
I mean, I don't think that killing Nazis is bad.
Well, no, I don't. I'm just saying we're usually late night shows a little bit more.
One thing I want to point out real quick.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out real quick is I'm having a very hard time figuring out how many people died from starvation during the Dust Bowl.
I would assume that that's intentional.
Oh, no, that's exactly my point. Because, you can find the figures. If you look up how many people died from the Dust Bowl, the answer is 7,000 and 2 million were left homeless. But it's very difficult to find the number on how many people actually starved to death.
Okay, so forget that and go back a little bit further in history. The atrocity that was the slave trade in America.
Oh, God.
The numbers are far worse than anything you're looking at here, and that's for the horrors of capitalism. So
yeah,
we don't.
And I mean, if we're gonna go, through the whole people that should have been born but weren't, or people that died early deaths due to lack of health care, for example. I mean, capitalism has a much higher death toll than.
We don't talk about the projected deaths, the deaths caused by our own colonialism.
Yeah, exactly.
And remote labor and those atrocities. We don't talk.
And like Austin pointed out, the genocide of the indigenous people and enslavement. Yeah. Let's not forget that before the transatlantic slave trade was in full swing, there were also quite a lot of Native American slaves, particularly here in New England.
20 million in general within a few
Yeah.
generations.
Unbelievable.
And there
20
were
million what?
20 million indigenous people died.
And then
Within,
sorry, go ahead.
within decades of the Europeans coming to the Americas. And while, yes, 20 million is incredible, the statistic there is 95%. That is the equivalent to, I believe, 285 or 290 million Americans dying right now.
You know, I know what's going to happen is somebody's going to say, well, it's ancient history.
No, it's not.
It's not. But let's fast forward then. Okay. Let's take a look at more recent thing in relation to the slave trade. Okay. Slave trade ended in 1808. But then we had the
Oh, no, actually it didn't end in 1808. I mean, are you talking about just in the US or are you talking about internationally?
that was, I thought that was in the United States. Is that
Yeah,
not right?
just the US. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we were just talking about that. Because it was still going on in 1825 with Spain and Portugal.
Well, and it carried on for a couple of decades at least after that due to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
I mean, illegal slave trade still exists. But my point is, you had the mass migration, you know, we had lynch mobs forming in the South that led to untold number of deaths. You know, we've got Black Wall Street getting burned down, you know, and people being butchered in that. We don't talk about these things, and the death toll isn't calculated because we know it would make us look bad. And that's problematic. We can't learn from history if we just erase it. We've whitewashed everything. And that's tragic.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you seen fucking...
And that's exactly right, Felix. Right there. Boom.
Have you seen fucking well, yeah, actually the very amendment to the Constitution that ended slavery legalizes it. So
Yeah.
Right. Just legitimized it.
Yeah, and basically it was because, like, at the time the common practices in prison were like, you know, if you were in prison, like, it was a worker campus or it was a work in prison. And that basically, like, if you had to have a due process thing in there because, like, otherwise, like, if you were arrested, like, they couldn't work you without paying you anything. Obviously that's still being used today, which is fucked up. So yeah. Now, one thing that I did learn though about California, and I do want to point this out just to be clear, it's like, hey, you know, like, I do know about the not alternative facts, but like the other things like aren't necessarily always talked about, is that in California, if you're serving a prison sentence, that can be like 50% of like the total sentence. So basically, like, you're sentenced to 7 years, you can get out on parole in 3.5. If you're in what's called fire camp, basically if you're a firefighter, yeah, you get paid like not shit, but they do knock a significant amount of time off your sentence. So
yeah, all you got to do is be willing to burn to death.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that so fucking generous?
That is sweet.
Well, Massachusetts is trying to do a thing to get inmates to donate organs in exchange for time off their sentence.
I need to grab more wine after hearing that.
This is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard in my life. Absolutely terrifying. You know, this is the most dystopian shit I've ever heard.
Dude, it's like we're no, it's like we're living a fucking science fiction dystopian novel.
Yeah, we had that conversation the other day. You know, when we first talked about this legislation, it was like, this is nuts. Yeah, opens the door for, we already have we have these for-profit prisons where people are being incarcerated to line the pockets of these judges and to keep these prisons open. You know what I mean? What's the different? What is to stop these judges from, or even police officers pulling somebody over and saying, "Oh, well, you know, we're going to take you for a blood alcohol test. They find out what blood type you are. Okay, so you're AB positive. All right, all of a sudden, you've got a bag of cocaine in your car. You know what I mean? That's it. Then all of a sudden you're sentenced to however many years in prison, and and then you're shortening it by giving a kidney to the judge's kid. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I'm terrified of.
Or the
That's the
cop's
dystopian
kid,
future we're seeing. Oh yeah, the cop's
or
kid, or family members, or a
maybe an
wealthy
eyeball
CEO
for
who put money into their pocket.
a couple of years off, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah, I can live with one eye. You know, what the hell? Ah,
I
Jesus.
laugh because I don't know how else to process it.
No, I get you. I
Like
get you.
really.
There is no way to process it. It is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. I don't understand why anybody's okay with that.
And then
Proposed by progressives, by the way. Progressives. I don't know what they're progressing. Progressively dragging us into a shithole.
progressing us into fascism.
That's possible. Yeah.
But have you seen what DeSantis is doing in libraries? I'm pulling up an article about it right now, but
Terrific.
So he's rejecting AP African American Studies course for lacking educational value.
Oh God. That makes sense.
And restricting libraries.
I don't think DeSantis is the best person to be making that call. You know?
I mean, probably not, but so back when, shortly after we started the podcast, and January 6th happened and they didn't do anything, and we pretty much knew that Trump's chances of running again were slim to none. And I think it was Dean originally who brought up DeSantis, right? But the more that I looked into him, the more I was like, wow, dude, this guy could like be what Trump thought he was.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't think anybody can live up to that expectation.
Okay, you're right, but you get the point. You get the
Yeah,
point, though.
yeah,
I
for
mean, this
sure.
man is effective.
Well,
He's
he's
an
more
effective
polished.
fact.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. How I was concerned that politicians are being given the go ahead to be less polished, and that might be terrifying. And I think Talia made the prediction that we will be returning to more polished politicians in the very near future. And I think DeSantis is the sign of the return of that. He's more polished than Trump ever was. You're not going to see him tweeting stupid shit in the middle of the night, making policy decisions on the shitter at 4 a.m. It's just not going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
he's calculated. He's
Yeah,
calculated.
basically, Trump is America's Yeltsin, and DeSantis will be America's Putin.
Christ, I hate looking at it that way. That's terrible.
I mean,
What a terrifying proposal that is. I mean, you're not too far off from the truth, I don't think, but it is a scary, because the Democrats certainly aren't putting anything. If they try to run Biden again, it's going to be a no-go.
DeSantis is going to mop the floor with Biden in 2024.
Exactly.
If that's what it comes down to.
The only way that the Democrats will have any chances if people understand like who DeSantis is, and I think he's shown enough of it that a lot of people won't vote for him on that basis alone. But at the end of the day, Trump really only lost because the Democrats ran such a terrible candidate. Felix, I disagree with you. I actually strongly disagree with you, Felix. I think the Republicans are trying to do what they can, but let's just look at 2022, for example, right? The Democrats ran so many campaigns in a horrible fashion.
In true Democrat fashion.
Exactly. The only, like, here in Arizona, Katie Hobbs was not Katie Hobbs. Carrie Lake was an election denier and like this fucking crazy ass alt-right bitch, right? I don't want to call her alt-right. She was pretty fucking close to alt-right. And then Katie Hobbs skips a debate. Usually a death knell for any candidacy for any like real office. Katie Hobbs still won. And if you look at the House, let's see, what is the
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was a whole fight getting Carrie Lake to even concede.
Well, I know, but like still, like I get that. But at the same time, though, the issue isn't the fact that I'm talking about the voters themselves right now.
Right.
Like that's what I'm focusing on. And the fact that the Republicans have such a slim majority, and like one of those seats was only won because like their dude that they ran was literally lying about everything. Like he was lying out of which hole this shit comes out of, right? Like I just people are like, oh yeah, it's going to be a guaranteed Republican victory in 2024. Act that way. Act as if the Republicans are guaranteed to win. It's not going to happen. Or it may happen. I just don't see it realistically happening. If and only if the Democrats run someone other than Biden.
Yeah, I don't think we have a shot in hell if Biden runs again. I mean, everybody who was crying about how oh Christ, Bernie Sanders was too old, is now looking at a guy who is 8 years older than he was when he ran the first time. And it's not good.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the Michigan governor. What was her name? Yeah, Whitmer. I think that they should actually
run Gretch.
Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. I think they should actually run her.
Big Gretch. Reminds me of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah. Because I don't think Pete Buttigieg has a chance. Kamala Harris, I just can't see enough people getting on board with her. Gavin Newsom, it would be so easy for the Republicans to run the oh my god, he's going to destroy all the guns.
He's going to California my America.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
It doesn't affect me because all my guns were lost in a boating accident on Lake Ligma anyway. But
Yeah.
Tragic loss.
Sad. I'm sorry.
Absolutely tragic.
Big Wretch reminded me of
Big Gretch.
Gretch.
Gretchen.
Yeah. It reminded me of Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Anybody remember Large Marge? No. Okay.
Anyway, hold on.
Somebody said here that James said, I don't like one of those orange ones. And I can't help but think that they just have like this whole, yeah, there she is. You got to show her second face when she goes off and she tells him about it. And he looked like this, and that big old buggy eyes come out. Yeah, it's Large Marge. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I feel like whoever's behind the GOP has just like a whole horde of Oompa Loompas they're pushing out to run for office. And next year we get to find out which Oompa Loompa's been selected. Why are they all orange? I don't understand. Unbelievable.
You want to know who wouldn't really surprise me much if he did run? He hasn't announced or anything, but Doug Ducey.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
I know.
Do you know who I think is going to run in 2028? Who? I can't remember what his name is, but he's a sheriff up in Pinal County.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Do you think Doug Ducey has a chance though? I feel like he's polished.
He's not at all charismatic.
He's kind of he's like a possum.
Yeah, well,
Dead
I mean,
possum.
he's from Arizona.
Mark Lamb, that's his name.
Yeah.
God.
That fucking guy.
Yeah. Like, he is the reason that I'm... Because whenever I have to drive through Pinal County, I'm a little bit concerned.
So I wanted to bring up that yesterday was Groundhog Day. And this is important to me personally because I did not know that there were multiple weather predicting marmots. It's not
You
just
didn't know
one.
that?
I thought it was just Punxsutawney Phil, but apparently Massachusetts has its own called Miss G or some shit. And so Punxsutawney Phil predicted that Pennsylvania is going to have 6 more weeks of winter.
Mhm.
And Miss G from Massachusetts, which is due north of Pennsylvania, has determined that we are done with winter. So I don't know how that's going to work out weather-wise, but good luck to you guys in Pennsylvania with
Yeah.
all your weather. 'Cause,
Also,
we're done up here.
basically...
Yeah, you know, with the fucking what's the temperature there right now, Scott?
The temperature here it feels like weather. Okay, so hang on, let's look it up.
So the wind chill.
Weather, Austin. It is -7 degrees with wind chill. It feels like where's my AccuWeather? Here we go. AccuWeather forecast. -7 actual. Wind gusts of 32 miles per hour. Wind
God.
at a constant 24 miles per hour.
Oh, God.
So it is continuously going down. In New Hampshire, it feels like -25 currently. As
Well, in New
You guys are gonna hate
Hampshire on
Real
Mount
feel.
Washington.
Nope, real feel here in Boston is -40. -40
So,
degrees. No thanks.
you might hate me, Scott.
Oh, great.
It's
I'm
60
embracing
degrees
this.
here.
Bitch. All right. So listen, Hooker.
I'm an escort, thank you very much.
It's -4 here, but so fucking Mount Washington, New Hampshire set an all-time record for
negative.
the coldest wind chill recorded at -108 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're having
expected to go down.
120 mile per hour wind gusts.
Oh my God.
That's exciting.
That is...
So the Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah.
It reminded me.
It was stolen from the pagans.
Does anybody remember Bill de Blasio's Groundhog?
Wait, what?
Bill de Blasio dropped the groundhog and it died.
Wow.
The groundhog died. So the zoo was trying to cover up the incident and place the groundhog. It was this huge scandal. Bill de Blasio. People don't know this, but actually de Blasio in Italian means the groundhog butcher. So people don't that's what his name roughly translates to. Fucking dropped. Can you imagine you're the mayor of a major US city and you're about to the major scandal in your administration is you killed a fucking groundhog.
Corbin put a link in the comments.
I have to ask because, like, does that really mean... Does de Blasio really mean groundhog butcher?
No!
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, 'cause I'm like, that does not sound fucking right. Sorry.
It does not mean groundhog
This is my second wine on an empty stomach.
Are you okay? You called me a pine cone.
Look, it's okay because I was looking up what does de
What do you-
Blasio mean when you said that.
What do you? No, you have to go.
This is what happens when I go like 8 months without
Looking at the
liking
glass
sex.
and the thing just flies through.
I'm so glad that they somebody was like, you know what? I'm not gonna catch the groundhog and avert the crisis. I'm gonna fucking take a picture.
Excellent. Oh, that is just killer.
Some witnesses have said Wilhelm simply dropped Charlotte, but others say he threw her. In the photographic evidence of the day, you can clearly see him smiling as poor Charlotte is about to receive lethal injuries.
Groundhog.
Jesus Christ. All right. So if it sees its shadow, no more.
Oh my God! He sent a YouTube link. What do we got here?
Excellent.
I'll open it on my end just to make sure that's not gonna like
hear
fucking fuck
everyone
us.
scream.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share.
Oh, sorry. This is only 30 seconds.
The sad thing is that it died. Although I will say, if Bill de Blasio was trying to grab me, I would probably do the exact same thing.
I'd jump to my death too.
Welcome to late night, everyone.
So if it doesn't see its shadow, no more winter. If it sees its shadow and it's scared, 6 more weeks. If it fucking jumps out of your arms and dies, what does that mean? Winter is coming? Like, are we gonna get endless winter?
Yes.
Are the White Walkers gonna roam free? Holy shit.
Maybe the frost giants will come back.
Those poor children. You can hear one of them like blood curdling scream when the fucking thing hits the ground.
Like,
I don't know why that brings me so much joy.
I think knowing the fact that de Blasio killed a harmless animal.
His entire administration was brought down by a marmot.
I'm glad I'm never moving out to the East Coast. That's all I got to say.
Holy shit. Oh,
So,
Christ. Yeah, so I had to bring up Groundhog Day to reminisce about the death of that poor fucking rodent. Oh God.
let's see. I was gonna mention something. What was I going to mention? Oh yes. So just for a little bit of a fun time, other than laughing at a poor dead animal, you monsters. I have taken up scam baiting.
What the hell is scam baiting?
Basically, it is where you waste scammers' time. So like whenever you get like those calls or whatever, like what you do is like you take the call and then you basically play along with them through their script.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you do things in order to waste their time. There's
That's
different
really-
levels of doing that. There's a level where you just like talk to them on the phone for a while, and then there's also the level of where you set up a virtual machine on your computer and maybe take a free domain and make it look like a bank website.
I'm about that.
and issuing a couple of viruses that whenever they click the transfer button, so that way they try to steal your money, they end up getting a backdoor inserted into their computer and their network.
Instead of having something inserted into their back door.
And then you can monitor everything that they do on that computer, including interfering with scam calls.
So do you have like, I think you should record footage of things.
Oh, I do. I did my first night of it last night. It was actually hard because apparently these call centers actually have like they work shifts to line up like with day shifts of the US businesses. It's really interesting. So like basically like if you're doing it, you have to do like from between 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me.
To catch people. That's weird. You'd think they would be like, during the evening hours when people are at dinner.
Because
that's when I get my calls.
Because like remember the other thing too is like you're not trying to catch like younger people, you're trying to catch old people.
Yeah, old people are suckers.
Yep.
I met this nice prince online.
like last night I spent an hour and a half on the phone with this one guy from like this fucking I try to remember which scam. Was it some McAfee refund scam? Yeah, it was what I thought was gonna be a McAfee refund scam, but it ended up being a different thing. Where like, oh yeah, here's your thing for $100 rebate. And then it was like, oh yeah, it's a free $100 rebate. And I was like, okay, now I just need a credit card so I can like charge you your $3.25 for the rebate. I'm like, dude, that's bullshit.
Yeah, please send me a $20 iTunes gift card to help you through this process.
So at that point, what I was like, now look, my friend, I ain't got no credit card, but I do got some Bitcoin that I bought a few years ago. Do you think we'd be able to use those to complete this transaction?
I see what you're doing. You're coding your accent.
Would 3.25 Bitcoin be able to work with that?
Oh, not anymore.
Yeah, he didn't. I was hoping that he was going to take me up on it, but he didn't. I'm like kind of sad.
So I want to bring up. I got involved in this chat a while ago with a couple of old coworkers that I can't leave. They're perfectly nice people, but they're a little crazy. They keep, every time I leave the group chat, they bring me back into it. And they are like batshit crazy conspiracy theorists. Like, I understand some level of conspiracy theory. I'm a leftist. I know that there's shit that has happened that the government is responsible for, but it's to the level where I'm like, oh, well, I bet you don't even believe we landed on the moon. And they say, I don't even think the moon is fucking real. That's the level of shit,
Yeah.
Like to the point where like, well, we've never seen the other side of the moon. So we don't have a moon. It's just a projection. So that's just weird because it's been in paintings for thousands of years. But anyway, it doesn't matter. My point in this is that they're just crazy. And so there just happened to be today like a full moon for it was like the heyday, which is perfect day for conspiracy theorists because a fucking weather balloon floating into a Chinese weather balloon floated into the United States.
It's a spy balloon. Like, let's be honest. Like, yeah,
so who cares? Spy balloon, whatever. But
you have to check on your phone. Guess what? It's fucking worse than this.
Oh God. So the thing they're messaging me all day about this. This is the field day they're having with this fucking weather balloon, spy balloon. I don't care. You know what? I got to tell you, I don't think they're using balloons to spy. I don't think they do that anymore. But hey,
I mean, they have satellites, and so do we.
Well,
nothing is private
so basically,
anymore.
like the difference is like you can get a higher resolution picture from a balloon than you would from a satellite, but balloons are also like higher altitude than planes. And also, if you send a plane into another country, like it's like, oh hey, you're like invading our airspace. What the fuck are you doing?
I got none of that.
Am I that drunk?
But what I will tell you is that they're talking about how it's over a nuclear power plant. And I don't know how to, like, I don't understand. Like, they're talking about, like, oh, it's been hanging over the nuclear power plant for the last 6 hours. If that balloon is hovering over the nuclear power plant for 6 hours, it's a fucking weather balloon. It's not a spy balloon if it's staying in one spot for 6 hours. Okay? Sorry. There's no more intel you can get from that one spot for 6 hours.
But my cousin
I'm with
Rodney
you, Corbin.
said,
I'm with you. You let those light beams in. David
Get the
Avocado.
vitamin-
Is your
vitamin
cousin David
D.
Avocado Wolf?
get the vitamin D that like I used to have, then I had like shoved inside my body.
Is that how you're supposed to take vitamin D? Is up the ass? Is that how you're supposed to do it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm fucking lesbian, so I have no fucking clue.
I don't know what that means.
I'm fucking lesbian, so I don't know.
Oh, I meant
That
actual
means she
vitamin
likes
D.
girls.
Yeah, you know, like you know that
No,
carpet
no,
in your house. I love munching.
Listen, Einsteins. Okay, why don't you both sit
Dobisa
down for a
suka.
bit? Okay?
Dobisa.
Listen, tonight, Talia, I'm surprised you're not pairing that wine with crayons. Okay, so tone it down a bit for a minute.
Don't
Okay?
accuse me of being a fucking Marine.
So my point was, I didn't understand when she said vitamin D. She was talking about dick. I wasn't confused about her being a lesbian. I was confused that we weren't talking about vitamins. Okay.
So I need to sober up, so I'm gonna drink a shot of acetone real quick.
Good for you. That's a good plan.
Fuck Ukraine.
I am gonna go check the wood stove because it's very cold outside. You know?
Is that an
Like-
innuendo too?
No. No, it's just literally cold outside.
It sounds like an innuendo.
Hey, Scott, open your window and see how it feels outside.
Are you? I don't do well.
I'll open my
extreme
window and it'll feel
temperatures.
fucking fantastic.
I'm a wuss. I don't do that. I don't play that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, what a dick.
It's -5 here right now.
Yeah, are you? Were you saying you're
-5.
not surprised that I'm a wuss? Is that what you were trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Toodles.
Whatever.
Okay, so it's just us now. So like now we can quit pretending to hate each other. Now we get to talk shit on Rob.
Well, I got to tell you, his mom is great in bed. So,
My mom's dead.
well, I didn't know that at the time.
apparently Rob's dead too because we're like hearing from him from the fucking ether. I mean,
I
like,
was
I
wondering.
knew I was witchy. I didn't realize I was that good at doing seances.
I was wondering why she didn't put up a
Rob's
fight.
getting away.
No, I already have the wood. I'm putting the wood in the stove.
Oh,
I guess that could be an innuendo.
Right. You're getting wood because we're talking about your mom?
No, because we talked about butt chugging vitamin D.
Oh. Do you do that? I don't know.
No.
Don't judge me. By the way, we're talking about gay sex right now, right? We're talking about dick going in your butt. Is that what we're talking about?
Dick
Or we're
going
talking
in
about
your
actual
have to be
vitamins.
isn't
gay.
necessarily gay.
If someone else's penis goes in your butt and you're a guy, that's not gay?
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, all right.
Because pre-op trans women exist.
Suppose that's true. Suppose that's true.
Suck it, liberal.
Wow. Ooh, that's hurtful.
Is this the one where I have the discussion where I basically like talk about all of my experience working as an escort for like 4.5 years?
Well, that's a late
Corbin,
night discussion worth.
I mean,
Corbin,
isn't that
is
every week?
I feel like, yeah,
is this when that happens?
is when it's just me.
Oh no, I'm still here. Give me 1 second.
Oh, she's getting ready. Is she bringing in the poll?
I am not bringing in the poll, but I have to like brush my hair, and I don't need a picture of me brushing my hair on the internet.
Oh, I see. That's fair. They don't need a picture of me on the internet at all, so I don't know why I leave my camera on it to begin with. What were we talking about? Right. Oh, so I saw this meme that somebody had posted about how you can't call somebody who's with a trans woman gay. Because and they likened it. Hang on, I gotta find it because it's not good if I
Oh
can't
no, you can
remember.
totally call someone who's with a trans woman gay if that person is also a woman.
That's true, but that was not the point.
Oh, I know. I just had to be like fucking facetious.
You know, what a dick. Unbelievable. So rude to me all the time. I don't even know why. That's a group where we pretend to be Antifa. That's not the one I'm looking for.
A car club where everyone pretends to be boomers.
Yeah, that's a good group. Yeah, there's a group.
Corbin!
I've chonged some dongs before, and that makes me less gay than Scott because now I know I don't like it. Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. Corbin is less gay than me. I'm willing to accept that. All right, there's a group.
If I'm ever the one mentioning vitamin D, just assume I'm talking about dick.
Okay. Well, now I will now take that under consideration. But I did not know that
You're good.
at the time. Okay. Here's the quote. Calling a guy for dating a trans woman because she was born male makes no sense. The girl you're dating used to be a child, so are you a pedophile?
That is fucking beautiful.
That's clever. I thought that was good.
Hold up, I need to go use that on a client real quick who said that he didn't want to like work with me anymore because he's like, I can't get over the fact that you were born a dude.
Really? Can't get over that?
Yeah.
After the first 20 times?
Can you tell how unpissed off I am about it?
I like how it's always like a sudden epiphany after the fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which for the record, we had never slept together. Like we were just talking at this point. So he had never even heard my voice when he told me this.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll be able to change his mind, no problem. Because I know me. It's not even a matter of like straight baiting. It's an issue of like, I have a designer fucking coochie.
A designer coochie?
Yes.
That is how I would market the shit out of that. That is exactly what I'd call it.
Exactly. And it's just like, it's one of those situations where I'm like, you're going to say no to that just because I used to have a dick that was bigger than yours?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some real hang-ups.
That's a fucking hung joke.
Ah! Oh. Yeah. Okay. So Natalie was with me. Says I really thought at first you were talking about vitamin D3, whatever that word is. So Natalie's with me. Natalie thought we were talking about vitamins too. So don't blame me. The only thing I can think of is so when Corbin said something to the effect of that he was butt chugging vitamin D, which I think was Corbin. Was it Corbin? Could have been somebody else. Pretty sure.
Hey, Corbin, subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Anyway, so the The only thing I could think of was this image of a guy with his legs up behind his head, taking in the sun, like doing naked ass yoga in a field. That's what came to my mind. All right, was this old
That's
designer
amazing.
coochie? We need, that is exactly. You should do a whole marketing campaign
That's why I mentioned my
about that.
OnlyFans. I'm like subscribed to my OnlyFans if you want to see my designer coochie.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say I'm intrigued.
you are intrigued.
I am intrigued.
I got you.
I'm too scared of women and I can't afford you. Oh, none of us can. None of us can, Corbin.
I mean, look, my OnlyFans is only like $10 a month. Actually, I need to lower the rate. Hey, Rob, welcome back. I am definitely not. Let's see, price per month. All right, everyone, my OnlyFans is now only $6.66 a month.
Wow. Perfect
Yeah.
number. I don't know where you got that from.
No idea either.
Yeah. I like that every week we advertise your OnlyFans.
I
think
mean,
that's important.
I do take a night off work for this, so
Corbin's gonna raise money for us so we can join your OnlyFans. So we can see that designer coochie. I don't know why I just said it like that, like I'm a hillbilly. Gonna give me some of that designer coochie.
you're welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Oh, look at you. You're
Speaking
so
of speaking
That's
of
a full
hillbillies,
fucking year, by the way, so you're welcome.
what?
Yes.
Oh, heart.
All right, now I get to do a tax write-off.
Will tip. That's important.
I'll just give you my Cash App. It's cheaper though, or like I get everything that way instead of just 80%.
It's only fair that we advertise for you every week, though. Yeah.
Although I will admit, I do appreciate me being given the opportunity to like have that monologue at the beginning of this. That did mean a lot.
Well, I think it's important.
yeah,
I hope I made you proud.
You did. Very proud. I was proud that you first of all that you managed to write that as quickly as you did.
Yeah.
And that you were confident enough to deliver it. So that was good of you.
I only counted like 3 mistakes.
You only counted it as group sex?
3 mistakes.
Oh, you only counted 3 mistakes.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't hear him. Gucci. Instead of coochie.
That was so it's not meant to be a pun. It's meant to be a well, it's like I used to call it my Gucci coochie.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, no, that just sounds like a little bit too, whatever. So I'm like, if I say it's designer, it sounds better.
If you say it's designer, it's better.
Yes, because it doesn't sound as like cringy.
Why? You think Gucci sounds
Gucci's too trendy.
Trendy.
Yeah, so like basically like
I can't afford that trend.
Well, I mean, so basically like my philosophy was like, look, if I had the option between a free Gucci bag and a free Louis Vuitton bag, I would take the Louis 10 times out of 10.
Oh, why?
Because Louis is like still gonna look good in 10 years, while the Gucci is like just really fucking trendy.
Oh, Louis is so plain. That's why it's going to be trendy in 10 years.
That's
because it's plain.
I know, but I don't mind plain though. Like I like, like my
Bitch,
bag.
I am looking at you. You do not like plain.
Okay, let me rephrase. With my bags,
let's back that shit right up.
I like my accessories, like my bag, to be more plain because I want your focus to be like on me, not on the thing I'm holding.
You think that a guy is going to meet you and be like, nah, none of that. What's that bag you're holding? You think that's going to happen?
Remember, I'm not worried about the dudes.
I'm sorry. A girl
Yeah.
I'm talking about a client. Okay, that's what I was going.
We're talking the work sense. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
But you think a woman actually might.
That's exactly my fucking point.
That's fair. All right, you win this one. You win this one.
I mean, I bet
Scott,
she's gonna
here.
win 10 times out of 10.
You get the punishment vodka now. You're welcome.
The punishment vodka.
Yes, that's what core is. Yeah, so I guess I'm not a fucking tanky then.
Goddamn, Zen is like avoiding coming on tonight, pretending like she's trying to get on. I'm watching it happen. So we're supposed to have a fourth. Oh, dear God.
Hey, Wade. How are you?
Be-doop boop. Wade is on.
Boop-doop-be-doo.
Communists don't have an opinion on Gucci versus Louis Vuitton.
That's what said I'm a tanky, apparently.
No, I'm a socialist, so I do.
Well, I mean, apparently I'm transphobic, so...
I can see that. Yeah. You get real transphobic vibes going.
I like how I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then like, wait,
Yeah.
no, you're in.
Yeah. That, and you're probably a homophobe too. Give that vibe off a lot.
Well, for going by the fact that like the most homophobic people are the ones who are like the gayest, then yes.
And a Russophobe. Man, you're just killing it tonight.
I mean, so we can switch the stream midstream to Zoom.
Never switch horses midstream. I was told that.
I'm just saying that if we want Trisha in here, we could.
I want Trisha. God, I wish Restream would work for her because like I love how Restream looks.
I do too. Yeah. It's got the logo in the corner, and it's like we can fucking change the view.
Yeah. Wait, leave it like
that's making me dizzy.
Like all three of our full screens. I like that one.
This one?
No, the other one. No, not that one. That one.
Oh, this. Oh. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay.
Wait.
Okay, Wade. I need to object to that because I'm not saying I've pissed on enough people who are into it to know that sometimes you have to switch up between people. Sometimes you have to switch people.
What? Why is it always dragged to that? Why can't you just stay in your space? Everything is, he's talking about a urinal, and you're like, no. Are we going to this? Are we doing this?
Oh,
yeah.
Before we
switch over, let me make sure that Zoom is actually gonna like fucking fire up for me.
Whatever you want to do.
Why whatever I want to do?
Because Rob, like we're gonna make you take the fall for this if it goes wrong.
This is brought to you by the Arizona State University.
Fuck ASU.
I want to take this moment to apologize for this brief interruption.
You owe all of us vodka.
All right, hold on.
No.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out.
I hate this.
Why do I hear you twice?
Because you're still in the restream, just like I am.
Yeah.
It won't actually let me switch it over. It says that I can, but I'm clicking it and nothing's happening.
Fuck.
Well, she can just be angry at us. She will be anyway, because we didn't start it that way.
All right. Well, that was a failed attempt.
That was about as failed as Operation Market Garden.
Oh, there's Scott. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry. This was terrible.
Yeah. So never switch urinals midstream.
I guess. Now I
That
lost
was
all of the chat. God damn it.
I still have it. Oh, because you left it.
I tried to move to Zoom like we
So
were
did
going to do. But I left this chat so my camera would work on Zoom.
Anyway, so you were talking like a hillbilly earlier, right? And I wanted to give a shout out. It's technically not his birthday anymore, but yesterday, the day that we started this stream, was Hi Thurman's birthday.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday and hi.
He's in
He's around now, right? He's in town?
well, he's not
You
here
know?
right now. No, he's in Florida right now
Oh.
with Kwame doing an event around missing people.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to
No, that's
shout him
great.
out.
Yeah, he deserves a shout out.
Yeah.
One of
Well,
the
and I mean,
OGs.
dude, that dude is like, well, not only is he like, you know, a founding member of the original Rainbow Coalition and now an elder advisor to the second Rainbow Coalition, but he also runs the North Alabama School for Organizers, and wrote a book. So the NASO has like a free mechanics program, right? Like, I mean, they're really doing serve the people work on the regular. I mean, I hope that I'm still active on the ground when I'm his age. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What just happened? What was the comment about the NASO?
The NASO is the North Alabama School for Organizers. That's
No. I was talking about like what was the whole conversation about the mechanics? It kind of went nowhere. You led into a conversation about a program for mechanics and stuff, and then it just kind of trailed off. And you said, "Yep, I wish I was that. I hope I'm active when I'm that age."
yeah. Okay, so that's just
What are your
an
weird
example.
transitions?
Yeah, I guess it was.
I know
But,
about
I mean, I can talk more about what they're doing. They're recording
That'd be great.
music out of the Young Patriots songbook from the '60s. They are, and that'll be coming out sometime this year. They are. So, like, as I understand, that's like, you know, folk music and like union stuff, and you know, that kind of stuff. And the free mechanics program is, I think once a month they're doing it now, but like literally, you know, like you show up with your car needing to be fixed, and within reason, if they're able to make it happen, they fix it for you free of charge.
Also,
Oh.
one thing that I need to point out that I just noticed is that Corbin said that I like to be on the bottom 5 minutes
Okay.
ago, and I disagree.
Yeah, you don't strike me as a bottom.
Fooled ya.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you took this conversation about this terrific program that's helping young people, lifting them out of poverty, to mention how you're a top. That is some late show shit right there. That is,
I mean, this is like why we need to have this is why the current event stream must always happen. As I now drink another punishment half shot of acetone.
ugh. Why are you doing that?
I spent the money on it. I need to burn through it.
It's painful to watch, though. Every time you do it, it's like,
Yeah, every time you're like,
don't make that face.
Like, honestly, no wonder half of Ukraine wanted to join Russia. I
Join
would
my
want Russian
OnlyFans.
standard God.
Excellent. The best advertisement ever.
For core vodka, I know, right?
No, for your OnlyFans. Every time you make that face. That is sexy.
Pull alt.
You gotta love a woman who has a convulsion every time she takes a shot.
Look, I like good vodka.
so
Yeah.
Trisha
me.
said
That's
in the
not it.
chat, in reference to the legislation we talked about, like an hour ago, a Fred Hampton quote: "Socialism is the people. If you're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of the people."
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I think the real irony is that government itself, if democracy was really democracy here, or even if it was a representative democracy, the government would be the people. The problem is that it's not really a representative democracy. We pretend like it is, but it's not. So, but my point being that socialism is an economic structure, not a political structure.
Yeah.
Democracy would be the political structure that complemented socialism.
Yeah. Because it's exactly one of those situations where it's like, okay, like you can either and the issue for me is like I always bought into this back when I was growing up, right? It was like, oh yeah, like you can either be a democracy or you can be socialist, without understanding the fact that like, oh yeah, like you can literally be both. In fact, being both is a great fucking thing, because the Soviet, which by the way, even though I'm Russian, I grew up hearing how shitty the Soviet Union was, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like the fucking communists from the Soviet Union were like, you get brand X and you get a fucking car that's like the 1940s, shit like that, right? While not understanding that was totalitarian communism,
Right.
not socialism.
Right. Right. And a little bit of irony there is that most of the Russians that I've ever met while I was in Russia preferred the days of communist Russia.
It was better.
Yeah.
It was better.
Well, perestroika didn't really go well.
Mm-hmm.
You had small roadside shopkeep vendors. I know those are a lot of words that just mean the same thing. Selling trinkets, making more money than doctors, right?
Yeah.
And so it really destroyed the economy, really turned things up on its head. And of course it's worse. Of course it's worse.
Yeah, I mean, because in my ex-boyfriend, he was always like, oh, the Soviet Union would have been better if it survived as like a more democratic form of the Soviet Union or something like that. I'm like,
I love that voice you keep doing.
yeah, I still
It's like a 1920s telecast. Hey guys, how we doing?
Yeah, I stole it from regular car reviews. But in all seriousness, though, it is a situation where it's like, oh yeah, like democracy is always a good thing, or like a more. I'm sorry, I'm fucking up again. Capitalism is always a good thing, or a more capitalist Soviet Union is a good thing, and it's like, no, it really wasn't. Like,
no.
Things, you hear the idea of, oh, like one brand of everything. How terrible. But the issue is that every single portrayal of Soviet Russia, such as in the TV show The Americans. Highly recommend watching, by the way. One of the few shows where like the Soviets are actually kind of portrayed as the good guys. At least protagonists of the show are Soviet. And you see the empty shells, but it's like that was after Perestroika started.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you never hear about here in the U.S. Just hear, oh yeah, Perestroika and Glasnost happened, and then people realize how great the West was, and then the Soviet Union collapsed.
Well, yeah, and that's crap. What happened was there was a good propaganda campaign coming from the United States that everybody here had all the money in the world. Everything was MTV.
Yeah.
I had a friend in college who wrote this great dissertation, thesis, excuse me, a thesis on the idea that MTV caused the collapse of the Soviet Union,
Which is right.
which is such a great, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not too far from the truth.
Yeah, because I remember there's this one book, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically something along the lines of like how blue jeans destroyed the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Not really, because like the cultural change in the Soviet Union is what ultimately destroyed it. And I think like they're basically the Soviet Union, the issue that they had is they just suppressed individualism for far too long. Because
Yeah.
you can still have an emphasis on the collective while also allowing people to be themselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's like the main balance that has to be struck.
If My Little Ponies has taught us anything.
Fucking brony.
I'm not a brony, by the way. I'm not. Or at least I'd like to believe I'm not. I'll tell you, my ex-wife and I were watching Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, I love that show and I hate it at the same time.
Right. Well, that was the feeling. So every time we would get done an episode, I would be so stressed out because it was like nerve-wracking. Like you feel the tension. It's such a good show that you feel the tension that the protagonists and antagonists, all the players feel, right? And so what would happen was we would put on My Little Pony for my daughter. And it was like, for some odd reason, that was such a wonderful de-stress. It's like, you know what, this show's great. I like it. I'm okay with this. You know, there's something to it because it was such a pleasant and happy thing. It's always positive. And after watching Sons of Anarchy, it's like the total dramatic difference for everyone.
Yeah, it's like literally there is no, like you cannot find a greater difference between the two, if I'm being honest.
Direct polar opposite, you know?
Yeah.
No
I mean,
stress,
it's kind
tension.
it's kind of like watching a Tucker Carlson episode, and then like, or no, I'm sorry, I need to go back on this. It's kind of like watching this podcast and then watching Tucker Carlson, two exact polar fucking opposites.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
if you go from Tucker Carlson to watching, you know, some Nazi propaganda shit from Third Reich, it's like the exact fucking same.
Oh, yeah. Oh, same talking points. That's cool.
I used to like him back when I didn't know any better.
Tucker Carlson?
Yep. You can't cuck the tuck.
Well, here's the thing. Back before he got his show, and before he started to really pander to the far right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because I like the first year or so of a show because my mom only watched Fox News. Like I literally had to watch it with her because she was terrified about me becoming a liberal after I came out as trans.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When he was on Crossfire, which
You
people
mean
don't.
back when he got wrecked by Jon Stewart?
Yes, yeah, back when he got wrecked by Jon Stewart, which I'm sure led to him really moving further to the right. But back at that time, he was if he wasn't a mouthpiece for the white supremacist movement. He was more tame, you know. And so I think he was forced to be because he had a lot of very intelligent guests who were taking the opposite opinion. You know, how do you know, if you're dumber than your guest, and you're the one who's supposed to be taking the opposing position, then you're going to make concessions because because you can't defend yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't defend your argument. So I think that's why he was more palatable at the time, and why he became slowly.
Yeah,
less
because it's like
palatable.
one of those situations where it's like I watch some of the shit that he puts out now, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck happened to you?
He's so bad.
Like,
It's
you
awful.
are worse than Glenn Beck was back in 2010.
He's not even hiding it very well.
I don't think he's
Bad.
trying to, if I'm being honest with you, because like the basic, like he is so fucking close to Nick Fuentes. Like,
Nick
I-
Fuentes.
do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch.
Hang on. I'm looking it up because I don't.
Yeah.
I probably should.
Since we're gonna be talking about him though, I do need more wine.
Yeah, I understand that. Oh, I remember this person.
There we go.
Yes, this is the kid, right? That like got pelted or some shit. What was it? Hang on. American white supremacist, political commentator, and live streamer, former YouTuber. His channel was permanently suspended in February 2020 for violating YouTube's hate speech policy. Imagine that. Is this? I thought this was the kid that got that sued the New York Times or whatever. But that's not him. He just looks like that little shithead. Boy, is he an unattractive person. I am a very white person. I am the whitest of white people, but
Like
I am
translucent.
yet translucently white. Yeah, like when I go to the beach and I take off my shirt, it's like a newborn baby fish. Like it's just you can see all my insides. It's that, you know. I try not to go to the beach because Greenpeace keeps throwing me back in the water. But
Also, guys, I just want to point out that Ray decided to say hi.
hang on, let me see this dog. Let me see this.
Ray,
Show me that puppers. Show me that puppers. Oh yes, I love dogs. I am doing that on air. I'm so
he
sorry.
doesn't like it when I do this. Usually, he's probably gonna hop back down. But Ray, yep.
Beautiful. I'm supposed to make direct eye contact with the camera
Actually, let's see. Arwen,
because
come in.
Corbin is pooping.
Arwen. So now we have another one.
Oh,
Scott.
two dogs. Two dogs.
Oh, two puppers. This is
Arwen.
excellent. Oh, what a cute potot. I love dogs, man.
Yeah, so Arwen is a Belgian Malinois lab mix. She's a total crackhead.
A crackhead. Is she the reason why your nose candy's gone?
I don't do nose candy.
No, the dog does.
She better not. She'd be fucking dead.
Oh, poor baby.
She's a sweetheart. Like, she was very much a trauma case, and like Raid is just This is what happens if I leave the door open.
The dogs come in. I get that. That's good.
I mean, isn't that what you do to an open door? You go through it.
Yeah. Although Arwen usually doesn't come in here on her
Sometimes,
own.
Rob.
But like she has to always be close to this one.
Sometimes
Really,
people
big
are
girl?
just too afraid to go through that door.
Welcome to my life.
That was deep.
Okay, guys, come on.
They don't want to make that.
Before mommy's allergies get too
Transition.
bad. Right, Nia, Skoya.
Oh,
All right, now I'm actually going to go get some more wine though.
okay. You do that.
I thought she did that.
I thought she already had. I feel like this is like the 8th cup of wine she's had. So it's possible she did and returned and then has now decided to get more. Yeah. So I'm not judging anybody for their wine intake. I like to wine.
But I will judge your water intake.
I don't intake water, so that's the problem.
That is in fact a problem. Your body's a lot of water.
Well, no, it isn't, because I don't drink water.
Were you guys talking shit on me?
Surprisingly, no.
We had an opportunity, we missed it. I feel
That
like
confirms that you were, though. You can't fool me.
I
feel like
mean,
we have
I
to-
guess if you don't drink water and you heard my comment about judging water intake. Exactly, Natalie. Thank you. Somebody's got my back.
I need to drink water. The problem is, okay, so my girlfriend thinks I need to drink water, and it's her answer to everything. Okay?
Water's
know,
bad vibes.
Oh, you have a headache, drink more water.
I
You're
mean,
tired,
a headache is.
drink water.
God damn it.
Oh, you're getting cramps, more water. Oh, you've got a Charlie horse, drink water. You know, you broke your arm, drink water. You're pregnant, drink water. It's like the answer to every fucking problem.
I mean, about
COVID.
the first half of the things that you said, though, yeah.
I was brought to the hospital because of COVID. You know what the reason was? It was because the only thing she could prescribe for me the whole time I had COVID was water. It's water. That was it. Medicine? No. No.
But did you
water
die?
It is.
But did you die?
Almost. Very close.
But you didn't.
I went to the hospital. You know what they gave me?
Drugs.
Saline.
Well, I'm glad you're not dead.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this show would be kind of a bummer.
Are you underestimating how much?
It would have been
fun
like
it-
sex with your mom.
Oh, wow.
Why would you want to have sex with my mom?
Jesus Christ. We lost viewers on that one. I'm sorry. Oh,
Yes, I am pregnant. Wait, thank you for acknowledging that.
he was talking to me, bitch.
Well, congratulations, Scott.
Thank
It's a
you.
medical miracle.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm
Does that
excited.
mean you get like Disneyland or whatever?
Yeah, I heard that was written into the rules, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't make the rules. I don't
Disney
follow
does.
them either.
Yeah. I would if it gave me Disney. Be okay with that.
But Disney funded Nazis, bruh.
No, what am I going to do with Disneyland? They're like, oh, here you go. You can have Disneyland now. Okay. So I can't afford to pay these people. I don't know what we're going to do. We're not riding on any of the fucking rides. We're not buying any of the food. If Scott was dead, the whole staring at me while I poop thing would be weird. Yeah. You mean more weird? 'Cause
I don't see what's weird about that.
I'm glad it wasn't weird. Disney was a terrible person. The institution that now owns all of the things is also pretty awful, I guess. It's true.
Do you know what else is awful?
What the fuck? What is this so random?
Shrooms. You're going to.
I
At
did.
Disneyland.
Yeah. I did shrooms in college.
I have actually never done shrooms.
It was not a great experience. It wasn't a bad experience either. We just laid in the snow and stared up at the trees. That
Was it snowing?
No, it wasn't snowing, but we were just looking up at the trees, and I just remember the branches were like growing in and then going back and then growing into each other and then going back. It's pretty wild.
That feels like a regular night of doing witchcraft.
What? So I could have skipped shrooms and just
Yes. Do witchcraft instead.
prayed to Baphomet for trippy visions?
Okay, all right, okay. You got me.
Wow. I got you.
What
We're
did he
like
get you?
We're like Sonny and Cher now.
There's more than one kind of witchcraft than just Satanism. Satanism is a great fucking part of it. Don't get me wrong.
But I thought
But
that was what you were.
no.
Or was the $6.66 sale wrong? Am I inaccurate with
Okay,
this?
listen. So, personally, I'm what's called I practice Lilithian witchcraft, right? I used to practice Wicca, and then I realized that they were kind of boring, so like I kind of switched things up a little bit. More
Lilithian
complicated.
or Lilithian?
Yeah, basically, where a Lilith is like the supreme goddess of everything. But there's like a huge fucking pantheon of shit, right? Like it's truly like theistic witchcraft is almost universally pagan. Beyond just like Satanism, which can be theistic, and if it is theistic, like usually it's Lucifer, but you can have like a lot of different ideas of Satanism that are really fucking complicated that I'm too drunk to talk about. But yeah, in general though, it's like, yeah, like I'm not a Satanist. I just like joke around about being one sometimes.
Okay. I believe you. Okay. Corbin is telling this fantastic story. That is going to make me cry, I think. I was high as fuck on shrooms, and my friend's grandma came over with a paper towel that looked like it contained brownies. My first thought is, yay, brownies. But it was a dead baby Rottweiler. It was dead baby Rottweiler puppies. They do look like brownies. I guess that makes some sense there. I was traumatized and haven't done shrooms since. But have you eaten brownies? That's the big question.
Are they
would-
weed
I'm
brownies?
actually curious because
Of course you are.
not in that way, you dick.
I think you mean you vitamin D. I was like, why would you do this? Yeah, why would they do that? Did she kill them? What is happening with this story?
This is what happens when you do bad shrooms.
Corbin's not answering me. This is crazy.
Fucking puppies. Wait, but yeah, Wade, fuck JOS. Like that's all I'm gonna say about those motherfuckers. They can fuck off.
Puppies.
I and this is when I'm glad I don't have a Rottweiler.
Oh shit. Oh fuck
you
yeah.
okay?
Brownies are the shit. Fuck them puppies is the best line.
That is the quote of the night. Like,
That is the quote of the night. Excellent. Oh. Natalie, who's like legitimately like the nicest person on the planet, reacted about the.
she laughed. Oh god. F in the chat.
Oh shit.
Wade, what the fuck? Wade just said Wade said, quote, now I want brownies that look like Rottweiler puppies, end quote.
What is this show even about?
It's the Late Show. It is literally about, and like the Late Show is us just fucking de-stressing about everything.
Oh.
Like that's what it is. Unfortunately, now that school has started up for me, I just have like a lot more random stress than usual. Such as fun story for you guys.
Okay. This
I
better
got
be
to live
fun.
out. I got to live out an action movie the other night. So current boyfriend.
Was that the end of it, or is there more?
There's more.
Okay.
Unlike your dad's dick, but I'm saying your dad has a small penis, but sorry, Scott's dad.
Well, I
but-
wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Good,
But
so
genetically,
I'm with
the assumption is yes.
yeah. So So,
Carry on.
all right. So, I'm with my boyfriend the other night because we were hanging out after I got done in school. I think this would have been Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So we're just like, we go to get dinner. We go over to our preferred bar. It's actually called Shay's Lounge, like after Che Guevara, which is pretty fucking cool. Highly recommended if you're ever in Tucson. Corbin, you're not wrong. But so anyways, like we're at Shay's and like all of a sudden, my boyfriend goes to talk with like his friend who's like also kind of a fuck buddy and all that other shit, right? She gets pissed off that I'm there and that like he's spending the night with me. Literally, I got involved in a car chase. I have the dash cam video to prove it. But like she actually tried hitting my car head on as we're like driving down the road because we were trying to avoid her. Like she literally tries hitting my car head on, and so I was like, at that point, I'm like, all right, yeah, we're just like out of here, like fucking like weaving out of traffic, like just like find the nearest bus station where there's like police, so we would like not have to worry about it. It was weird. You look at me like I'm crazy.
No, that's.
It was fun. I never want to do it again, but it was fun.
I feel like that story required a lot more background information.
Yeah.
Because what we
TLDR.
just got was, hey, I was in this great action sequence, and then you're just like,
TLDR.
we almost hit and we didn't, and there was a chase.
TLDR. Boyfriend's former fuck buddy got pissed off that he didn't want to spend time with her, and so she tried to kill me because I was there.
Oh,
I get it.
No, I didn't get any trouble.
I don't think you should have.
Because like she had to be kicked out of the bar because she came inside. So they were like, yeah, like you got to go. And it was pretty clear from that point that we were good.
Yeah. Don't come inside the bar.
Yeah.
You got to do that somewhere else. It's still illegal.
Yep.
Right. Anyway, so I don't know where to go from your fucking crazy action sequence story.
Do you want the video?
You've left us nothing to go on.
I'm used to doing that because I just ruin everything I touch.
You're a fucking train wreck.
I am a train wreck, especially whenever I'm in school.
If you're going to be a mess, Talia, be a hot mess. Boom. Boom.
Just wait till I get my boobs.
I told you. I can't wait.
I'm pretty sure most people can't.
I can't wait. I'm very excited about this.
Like, I have to be honest, though. And, like, this is, like, one thing where I think I can kind of, like, bring us back to the train tracks. Like, gender dysphoria is so fucking weird because, like, you could be, like, the most attractive person in the fucking room. And, like, it's, like, I still feel like I'm not that fucking pretty, which is actually a very true sentiment because like a lot of like my like outward like, oh hey I'm hot is a fucking act.
Oh, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's so fucking weird because like I know I am, I just don't believe that I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Well, I mean, people pay you to be attractive or to be their fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think that it's all in your head. If you,
yeah,
so,
like I know it's not, but it's just like one of the situations where I'm just kind of like, there's no way that people are actually being honest with me. Like it has to be pure sympathy. And it's not like a single like where it's just me having that sentiment, right? Because I'm in this one Discord server, where like it's only trans women. Well, no, I take that back. There's one non-binary. There's one like trans masked non-binary person in the server, but like the rest of us are all trans women. Petra, don't say that because I'm gonna think that you're being condescending, or I'm gonna believe that you're lying to me. Like you literally cannot say it whenever I talk about it because I will literally believe that you're lying to me.
No. But you have a logical brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my thing. Nobody is going to seek you out and pay you money because they feel bad for you.
Oh
They,
no,
you know what I'm saying?
no, and like, and it's
Nobody's
so
giving
weird.
you money to see you naked
Oh no,
because
I know, and
they
like, and
feel
that's like
bad
a weird
for you.
thing because like basically
Trust
like
me, or I would play that card all the time.
no, I felt that, but basically like it's one of those things where it's like if I'm in the right mood, I believe it, but like
Yeah.
until I'm in the right mood, I don't believe it. Like,
How many
and that's
wines
a
do you
lot
have
better
to
than where I
have?
was 2 fucking years ago, where I never fucking believed it, right? Like, I'm like, no, like everyone's just like, oh, yeah, like they just want me because of my dick. Like that's the only reason anyone ever spends any money on me. Well, now it's like, no, like you actually spend money on me because I'm fucking hot.
Nobody spends
But yeah,
money
what I'm
on me
saying is
for
like
my
gender
dick.
dysphoria is fucking weird, and like, yeah, the trans experience is a fucking time.
Yeah.
I bet.
That was my point. Is it's just like it's so fucking weird. It's like basically like, like it's so weird being socialized from like age 0.
You make it sound like you were domesticated. Like
Well, I mean,
she's finally started to use the toilet. We've moved the pee-pee pad out of the house.
I mean, but no, but seriously though, because it's like from age 0 all the way through like like 18, I was socialized entirely as a fucking dude. So like I have
Yeah,
a
that's
chick's
pretty
brain in here, right? Like this fucking noggin is like really fucking thick. Like
Yeah.
there's there's like literally like if you buy into that side of the science, which I do personally, like it's like yeah, like there's a fucking girl brain in there, and it's like in a dude's body, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I'm socialized to act like a dude and never fucking connected, right? And now I'm just like, yeah, it's a fucking time. Which I think is why I really want to go out to the move over to Europe, Northern Europe, and like live in the fucking woods and just like the weird witch of the region that everyone goes to for like medicine whenever their doctor tells them to like get the fuck out of here, have some saline for your COVID.
For your COVID. They didn't just give me saline. I want to clear that up, okay?
No, I know. I just had to pop the joke. Though.
Very nice. Nice callback. That's very good. Um,
But yeah, it is kind of but like it is interesting though, going off of what Wade said about everyone or everyone's domesticated. It is it is a very interesting a conversation to have though, because if you look at all of the religions that are actually taken seriously by general society right now, all of them are monotheistic. And I just find it really interesting of how all the pagan religions just seems like, oh yeah, like you say you're pagan or whatever, like you're pagan, but like you just like hook onto the mythology. And I'm just like, nah, not really. Like, did I adopt that part of it? Yeah, but do I believe it? Yeah, I do. Am I very sober? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
There's
just
a lot
like,
of-
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Wait, how many drinks have I even had on this?
A lot. We've been trying to keep
5?
track. We can't keep up with you.
4.
There's a lot of talk here about living in the woods.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I am opposed to that. Strongly
He's a sissy.
opposed. No.
Hey now.
No.
Don't
I don't
give my
understand
subs
people
a compliment.
who work hard all week to make money to pay rent or a mortgage, and then they pack up all their shit and go out on the weekend and simulate being homeless. That is it's the stupidest fucking thing
Yeah, so it's a different
I've
thing
ever
for
heard
me.
in my life.
Yeah, like, and I will be honest, like, habitual campers are really weird because I'm like enjoy your fucking house, like, at least sometimes. But, like, I also do appreciate, like, the people are like, I just want to get away for a weekend or whatever, get away on the weekend to be away from everyone. But, like, for me personally, like, if I had the skills and the ability, like, I would gladly, like, if you told me that if everything would be covered and, like, I would just suddenly have, like, all the abilities necessary to be able to go up to Alaska and like live on my own off the land, completely off the grid, and like be able to do like witchy shit, I would take it in a heartbeat.
If you gave me all the skills necessary to survive in the woods, and you trained me, and you gave me the ability to make my own, uh, shelter, I would still enjoy indoor plumbing and Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about here. Like that's not. I think that's crazy. That's like just the bat shit to me. Like
Yeah,
just
and
let's just.
like that's kind of like the beautiful thing about it is the fact that like one person's ideal is fucking batshit to someone else, and like I think that that's actually a very beautiful thing if I'm being honest with you, because that's true, Corbin. That is true.
Yeah.
But about the OnlyFans and needing the interwebs to
I
check out
saw
the
it.
OnlyFans.
I saw the comment. I know what you meant.
Cool. No, I was like referencing it to everyone who like didn't see it quite yet. But it's like I'm gonna have to get really personal here because like otherwise I'm not gonna be able to explain this properly. So
Okay.
whenever I go for a hike up the mountain,
Yeah.
I always have like a couple of 2 or 3 day period afterwards where I feel like my life and like regular civilian life, or like regular life, isn't like as fulfilled as it was whenever I was like disconnected from fucking everything for like
Yeah.
5-6 hours, whatever it was. And I think part of it is like the fact that I just need to like really take a weekend to go camping. Because I haven't gone camping in a really long time. I just like need to take a weekend and just go camping or whatever. Even if it is like a designated campsite or whatever, like with a lot of amenities or whatever. Just like just like remember what it's like to be kind of like in the woods and like be able to like to have my little medicine bowl or whatever, and like be able to burn some incense, just feel like I'm doing something. Because I haven't really had that now in coming up on 3 years. Because my old coven, like back when I lived in St. Louis, like we would always get together and like we would do shit like that in the woods a lot. And I guess part of it's the fact that I'm kind of nostalgic for it. But at the same time, though, too, it's also an issue of, I guess, like just feeling one with the universe, which is me kind of being a little bit preachy. I'm sorry. But like that's like my own personal perspective on it.
Can I feel one with the universe and have a warm shower and not have to shit in a hole in the ground?
I think it is possible. Because people are able to like to kind of like feel that level of fulfillment with different methodologies.
Yeah, because I don't find that stuff fulfilling.
Yeah, because like one of the because like actually like one of my like most influential mentors with witchcraft, she is very much a city witch. Like she is exactly like you, right?
Yeah.
She likes the amenities of living in the city. She likes the amenities of modern life, but she also is like honestly like far more advanced than I'm probably ever going to be. I'm not gonna say that, but probably. And it's all a matter of just like finding your element, and like that's like kind of like the beauty of it, because some people are just fantastic in some respects living in the city, and others are like, this just isn't really what I want. And I think there should be an avenue for people to be able to have both.
You know what I get out of hiking? Tired. That's what I get.
Yeah, and like, and also like that is like you're supposed to be tired. Like if you go on a really long fucking walk and like
Yeah, I don't.
tired, or do you think that's all you get out of it?
But that's not what I do for leisure. I don't get tired. I don't go and get tired for relaxation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't need to.
I think what you're saying is that you're lazy.
I don't want to call it lazy. I work a lot. I work really hard all week long. You know that. I have hardly any time for myself. I work very hard to not be fucking homeless. That's the whole point.
Americans are working hard to put food on their families.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like I think in a large part though, I hate how I feel trapped, because like if I were to go like want to live up on the mountain, for example, like I can't just like fucking go up to National Forest Service land. I at least I don't think I can. If I can, please someone in the comments let me know. But I don't think I can just like go up to the fucking the forest, just like build a hut or a shack or whatever in the middle of the forest and like just live there. Because I would love to be able to do that. Right. But instead, it's like I have to spend like $500,000 on a fucking cabin up there. I'm like, that's not worth that.
Listen, to each their own. You know, I mean,
That's
everybody
exactly
does their own thing. You know, you live your life and enjoy yourself, uh, simulating homelessness and being one with the universe. And I will be in the comfort of a home with a warm bed that I worked very hard to to stay in, and under a nice roof. And by the way, today would be a great day to be outside in the woods enjoying yourself at negative fucking 112 degrees on the top of
Okay,
Mount
now look, I
Washington. It's
wouldn't
a
move.
beautiful day for a hike, Talia. Let's go up to the top of Mount Washington tonight.
Okay,
We'll go
let's go.
check
I'll
it
bring.
out.
I'll
Yeah,
bring
with
Ray.
those temperatures, frostbite can set in literally 1 minute.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Let's go die.
bring the Sherpa.
I
We'll do
welcome
it.
you with open arms.
That's excellent. Wait, okay.
I really need, I'm honestly, instead of going on cam tonight, I might end up like recording an episode of a witchcraft podcast I've been wanting to start up.
Yeah, we are up in the bomb site. I am in Massachusetts, and Rob is in Rhode Island. So we are in the midst of it. Talia, however, is enjoying a balmy 60 degrees.
It
Hey,
might
now,
be like 58 now.
Oh, yeah.
54.
Oh,
It's very
God,
cold.
it
now,
dropped
yeah.
6 degrees. Unbelievable.
hold on. I'm finding out what my current temperature is. My phone's plugged in downstairs, so I have to look it up on the computer like a fucking caveman.
Like a caveman. Listen, you like camping and you're relating that to being a caveman?
I
Wait,
think
there's
that
you
you
sarcastic
fundamentally
son of a bitch.
misunderstand what people enjoy about camping. How
Hey, now,
about that?
look at Wade, like being a fucking smartass over here, saying that his temperature is 98.6 degrees.
It is -7 here right now, though.
That is beautiful.
The wind has calmed down a lot, though. I will say
Actually,
that.
I'm kind of curious. What's the weather in Moscow? Let's see. So, high of 32, low of 24, and it is snowing.
Where the temp took a dive, are the shelters open? Unfortunately, not
Actually, a couple of cities in Rhode Island opened temporary warming shelters, literally just for the weekend, so there wouldn't be anybody out. But we'll see. The Cranston Street Armory in Providence is also a warming shelter like that, but people are skeptical to go there because of how they're treated and how the facilities are kept.
Yeah, the way that homeless shelters are handled homeless shelters are handled in this country is so fucked up.
Oh, it's terrible up here.
My God.
Particularly in Rhode Island. And the thing is, Providence has never had a really great track record with the homeless. Ever since Buddy Cianci basically came in and said it was illegal to be homeless and everybody needs to be out of the city. It kicked all the homeless out of the city. I mean, it wasn't like it was a negotiated thing. It wasn't like, oh, let's move them into shelters. Let's find places for these folks. They kicked them out of the city, and now we have camps outside the State House where people are being arrested for camping out in front of the State House, being pushed away so that the governor can take pictures on the steps for his Christmas cards. Absolutely fucking absurd.
That's
People are
just,
gross,
I mean,
man.
like, honestly, the one thing that reminds me of is when Trump demanded that, like, the protesters be cleared out so he could do a photo op in front of that one church in D.C.
And he was holding his Bible upside down and shit.
Yeah.
Boy, if that wasn't.
I need to burn another Bible. That would be a fun time. Oh, speaking of that,
Scott's like,
Why?
yeah, because like I need firewood sometimes, and because I got which leads me to my other story. So like I have this tattoo, right? Kind of obvious, like that I'm not a Christian based on this tattoo alone.
I can probably figure that out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this tattoo showing yesterday on campus, and I'm going over to Panera to get my other free coffee for the day because I subscribe to their Sip Club, which is like $12 a month. It's actually pretty good value. Coffee's not great, but free coffee, you know. And all of a sudden, like this woman is like, "Oh, here, have this." And like she hands something to me, and I'm like, probably some flyer or whatever, you know. And I look down at it, and it's a fucking thing of like the 10 Commandments, like why we should love God. And I'm like, you literally handed this to a high priestess of another fucking religion.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, they could. The signs are there, you know. I feel like you could
Yeah,
probably
like
identify.
I wasn't even wearing this necklace. I was literally wearing a crescent moon pentagram necklace or pentacle necklace. And I'm like, how the fuck? And I think I was wearing a crop top too. So like this tattoo down here was also showing.
Oh, all right.
I'm like, how
You
fucking
can't miss
dumb.
it. It was
Yeah.
just a giant neon sign. I don't
Pretty
have a tattoo yet. I really want one. I'd like to get tentacles that go from my back and they wrap around my arms. But that would be an expensive and very long tattoo.
Yeah, that would be a multiple sit tattoo.
Yeah.
But that would be awesome.
Um,
I want to get basically sorry, I'm going to cut you off real quick while we're on the subject of tattoos.
yeah, I'm used
My
to it.
plan is to
Fine.
basically like have this incorporated into a full sleeve on this arm and like get some color done on this and then just like have my entire right arm be full of like witchy tattoos.
Cool. I dig that. My girlfriend's got a sleeve tattoo.
I think girls with tattoos are pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your girlfriend's name?
Corbin said that he's not familiar with Tom Morello's guitar.
Oh, such a fantastic guitar, by the way.
There you go. Tom Morello's a badass.
He really is.
Yeah. That's all.
That's awesome.
Like I know that there's a bit of controversy with him and Ted Nugent, but at the end of the day, like Tom does so much great work that I think we can overlook that. Like being friends with one asshole isn't enough to like dismantle like an entire life of hard work.
Fair enough.
Of good work.
And I mean, like, honestly, I feel like they probably just talk about guitar.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yeah. Because it's like, I know I've been friends with problematic people in the past, but like I've never been friends with them because of like their problematic beliefs. I've been friends with them because of like, we have other mutual interests. And yeah.
I also, Natalie says it's about conversion, and I think that's true too.
But that's exactly it too.
Being able to sit and talk to somebody. If all I did was surround myself with leftists, we'd have a great time talking about politics. But I'll tell you something: I wouldn't be doing the world any bit of good by just talking to them. I wouldn't be changing any hearts and minds if I just surrounded myself with leftists and never talked to anybody else. So,
yeah, and plus like. And that's like a really good point because it's like
I know
you can very easily tell when whenever someone is actually engaged in like very deep conversation with people who disagree with them, as opposed to like just staying in the echo chamber. Because those who engage in debate with people outside of their own personal circles are always far more well-rounded. And I don't mean well-rounded is in like more well-rounded beliefs. I mean like you're like not necessarily conversational style, but like your level of understanding is so much more well-rounded that like you know what you're talking about and you know that you believe what you're saying. But if you've never had discussions with people outside of your circle, you could have just like read like one fucking book from like a beginner's like like I don't know like leftism 101 and be like, oh yeah, like I know all the stuff in this book, and it's like, dude, you don't know shit.
I think it's interesting if you're I'm a Christian, of course, as you know, and I think nothing enforces really allows me to educate myself better than talking to atheists.
Yeah.
Talking to people who don't really buy it. They want justification. They want to learn more. So it forces me to learn more to engage in that conversation. That's important.
And there's a big difference between talking with someone who actually is engaging in that conversation for a good reason and someone who's doing it just to troll you, because trolls are
Right.
just a waste of time, right? But whenever I'm in a very genuine discussion about my personal religious practices, it it's one of those things where I do it because, like, okay, this is a person who's asked me, because I'm not supposed to proselytize. So you ask me a question about something, and I'm like, okay, this is what I actually believe, and this is what I actually do.
Yeah.
And both in politics and in uh in religion and spirituality, I do see some very good results. At the very, because one of my best friends is actually um is a very pro-Trump Republican, but just from talking with him and like kind of pushing his brain on some stuff, he's actually good on LGBT rights. And I'm not saying that I'm the only one responsible for that, but I do know I've been friends with him now for coming up on 4 years, and we have had countless hours of conversation on various political issues. And there's a very good chance that without me, he would not be as good on issues as I am, because the very first thing that came out of his mouth when I asked him, I was like, could you have ever predicted us being friends together? When we first, when you first heard me talk in class, and he's like, no, because I thought we were going to disagree on fucking everything. And now we have weekly or bi-weekly calls for at least an hour or two, just talking and catching up and talking about stuff. It is so important to have that engagement, because there's the idea of, oh well, so a lot of conversations are going to be futile, but that one conversation that you have with someone who is on the other side, where you turn them on a key issue, such as trans rights or gay rights, people who they talk to know that person is conservative, and they're gonna be like, that's a good point that you made, and then they're gonna think about it more than if I were to tell them something.
Yeah, I agree with that, and oftentimes the question here: does it ever help in your experience to have a conversation with somebody who may not be having that conversation in good faith? So my my response to that personally is, if it's in a public forum like on Facebook or Twitter, I think that's an important time to have that conversation, because somebody who is having a bad faith conversation is going to make an ass of themselves. So you get to make good, valid arguments for the greater public to see, to view, while they're simply trying to troll you. Right. And that can be and I always call that out. I'll always say, well, I understand where you're coming from, or I think, what you're saying doesn't seem like it's in good faith. And I try to bring the conversation to an educational uh, um, direction, and and I thought that was futile and that people weren't reading it, until one day I had a conversation with a young lady who happened to be friends with me on Facebook, and we had a whole conversation about it. She said, I really love reading your exchanges. I never feel comfortable talking in them, but I love reading your exchanges and the engagements you guys have on your Facebook page. Um, I used to be way more active a long time ago, but it was a really I think it's important. It's an educational tool.
Yeah,
Anytime you have a platform, use it.
yeah, and you nailed everything I could have possibly wanted to say, just far more eloquently than I could do so in my current state of mind. Because it's kind of like what I just said, and like what you just said. Every single thing that you see on social media publicly can be used to great use. or also to a great damage or great misuse. Like nothing else needs to be said other than the Libertarian Party, for example, which I used to work with, for full disclosure, until the Mises Caucus took over. But like their donors were going down the moment the Mises took over, even though they're like, oh, we got all these new signups. It's like the real money spenders, they all went away because like we don't want to be associated with the alt-right.
Right.
So yeah, and I want to point out something that Corbyn said. I agree with what he said about it being hard to have a conversation with people with a religious mindset. And tying that in with a couple of things that Wade said about modern Christianity and Christofascism. I think that there's like a really big tie-in between religiosity and the idea like everyone who's religious is Christian, right? Because almost everyone that you talk to that says, oh yeah, I'm religious, or would say I'm religious, they would almost always insist on saying I'm Christian. While other religions are very much more
I've
open.
been saved.
Exactly.
Well, Christianity isn't a religion; it's a faith. But I do catch your meaning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. And also the other thing I do want to push back on what Wade said is that modern Christianity is not based on what Christ taught; is based on what Paul wrote.
100%.
Massive distinction there.
Christ was the OG. Was the
exactly.
OG socialist, was the OG communist.
Yeah.
We tend to forget that.
Yeah. And
I mean, I really like the part where he chases the fucking bankers out of the temple. You know what I'm saying?
The money lenders. Yeah, I'm chasing the money lenders out of the temple.
I mean, I'm just saying, if the Son of God can't get through to the class that would eventually become the capitalist class without using violence,
one of my favorites is if you don't like what if what you're seeing is causing you to be tempted, then you can pluck out your own eyes.
Yeah, so guys, go ahead. Everyone who is sexually turned on by me, just take out your own eyes. You don't have a choice.
Oh.
Yeah. If I'm tempting you, you get to pluck out your own eyes.
No, he was saying the point was that that women should be able to wear what they want, and that if men can't help themselves, then they should take it upon themselves to correct themselves.
Oh no,
and
I
not
know
the woman.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because it's like, this is like it's a lot more provocative in person. It doesn't look very good on cam. It's like one of the more provocative outfits I can wear, which is why I have to wear leggings whenever going in public wearing this, because otherwise it's like way too fucking short.
Jesus. Good for you. I like that you're that confident yourself.
Yeah, which is weird because like that confidence is actually genuine.
Good. Well, earlier you were saying it wasn't, so
yeah, like, and it's because like it's very focused on like certain parts of my body, like this,
like the designer vagina.
Yeah, like that I feel great about, but like this, chest, hairline, not so much my nose, lips a little bit, cheeks, eyebrows, and like I can like list off all these little things that drive me fucking crazy. But like overall, like my overall package, I'm very happy with. The issue for me is like if I hyper focus on shit.
By the way,
right. See you, Rob.
We're gonna wrap it up in about 10 minutes here.
Okay, cool.
But I wanted to say, if a conversation ever gets toxic, then you end it. You don't have to. Don't engage in a toxic unless you feel like you've got it handled and they're not bothering you. That's you get out of it.
Yeah.
If you know you can handle the conversation and you can craft your message to the audience as opposed to the person trolling you, then you're good.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the key aspect of that, is that you have to be able to detach yourself from the toxicity of that conversation, because I've been involved in many debates on Twitter that turned toxic. And I was so concerned about being perceived as losing the debate if I left that I kept on going to the point where it was actually affecting me. It should never, make sure you never get to that point, because frankly, people don't care about the last tweet. The first 2 tweets of what you say are the most important ones in a discussion like that. And after that, no one really fucking cares. No one really fucking cares.
Oh, Wade, you stole my line. A face made for radio. You bastard.
Yeah, back when I was like early on in my transition, that was actually my go-to line, believe it or not. I love that line so
Your
much.
face for radio, yeah. I feel like that's never applied to you.
Yeah. And Juki Holic, I want to point out what you just said. Once the toxic relationship is broken, it's way better, and that is so true. And just real quick, since like it's kind of been opened a little bit, that applies to every aspect of your life. Any part of you that you feel is toxic right now, just do what you can to cut it off as soon as possible. Not saying you have to do it immediately, because for various reasons it may not be possible. It could be a relationship, could be something that you do personally, but the sooner that you're able to cut it out, the better off you're going to be. Because toxic relationships never get better.
Yeah. It's because they're toxic.
Yep. Because it's like every time I told myself, oh, I can make it work, it's never worked.
Yeah, we're really opening up tonight.
Yeah. This is, it's definitely been one of those weeks for me where I'm just like, do you know what? Fuck it. Let's be honest. Yeah, I felt like Juki. It is kind of hard to understand like how to interact with individuals. Because like there is also like a very big difference between like intending to be toxic and like not knowing if you're toxic. And like it's just a big solution of like respecting what people tell you. I had a conversation with a friend of mine this may give another personal example, because this is what I always do. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine about a month or so ago, or 3 weeks ago, where basically we were on a Discord chat, and she's like, yeah, like, like the group kind of feels like you overshare a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool. And for me, like I hear you overshare as you're annoying, because like I've heard that a lot throughout my life. And so like I just quit showing up in the Discord group, because I'm like, I don't want to overshare. I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to bother anyone.
Yeah, you go to the other extreme.
Exactly. And then I made a post the other day on my Instagram saying, like sometimes like I was told, whenever I'm told I feel like I'm not part of a group or whatever, or I don't fit in very well, I just completely detach. And my same friend messaged me, was like, hey, this feels very similar to a conversation we had. I'm like, yeah, like, you weren't the only, or that what you said to me wasn't the only reason, but it was a significant part. And that's a case where you have to take personal responsibility. Otherwise, the person who you had the conversation with is going to tell that, oh, hey, you didn't take personal responsibility, and therefore the trust level is going to go completely out the fucking window.
Right.
So whenever you have a chance to take personal accountability, with some exceptions, obviously, namely in a criminal setting, of course, in that case, listen to your lawyer. But in a personal setting where, it's, especially if it's a one-on-one conversation, take it. Because you're not going to be hurting anyone if you just say, hey, sorry, I fucked up. Even if you say, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, that's a good way to handle that kind of stuff. Because that's a great way to show that you weren't trying to be toxic. It was a genuine mistake. It goes a lot further than just like brushing off and like talking about the other situation that was brought up. I hope that makes sense.
I think if you're asking the question, am I the toxic individual? It's very unlikely that you are.
Yeah.
Because if you're that introspective about it, it seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Would be my point. We have about 5 minutes left, and I just wanted to say thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Wait, whoa! What do you disagree with, Juki? You can't just say, "Well, I disagree." That's toxic.
Makes me think that you're asking disingenuously.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're asking it in a disingenuous way, then of course. But if you're asking in a genuine way and you're reflecting on your behavior and you're saying, maybe I am the person. Am I the asshole? You know?
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of like being honest with yourself in that case, because like we're not going to be able to answer that question. Yeah, Juki-holic, like all I'm going to say is like you have to ask yourself that question because we can't answer that. It's probably the anxiety, but we cannot give you a good answer on that, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
So ask yourself is what I'm going to say. But yeah,
that's a fact. Yeah.
It's a tough situation, like with toxicity online anymore, because it is difficult to avoid being toxic online. But all that you can do is try to avoid being intentionally toxic.
What is it? What is it? Is it sea lioning? You know what I'm talking about? When somebody pretends to be having a conversation in good faith.
Sea lioning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, when somebody's like trying to lure you by pretending they're having a conversation in good faith.
Yeah, that annoys me. I'm not going to lie to you. I always like every time I engage in a conversation with someone, I'm at least trying to be genuine. But whenever someone isn't, it does bother me a lot, especially whenever it's about something like that's very personal for someone. Like a couple weeks ago in my property class in law school, we had the professor who I don't blame her because she's an immigrant and she is a person who learned English as a second language, and she doesn't exactly understand the culture of the U.S. as well as like you or I would. And she brought up the Masterpiece Cake Shop case and like had us engage in a discussion with it, and it was very dehumanizing for every queer person in that class.
Well, I imagine.
Yeah, and I'm actually having I have an office hours appointment set up with her just so I can like kind of like talk with her and be like, look, I know this wasn't intentional, just to be clear, but like I know that from my experience, like also like from what I've heard from other students in the class, like they felt this way. So like let's try to avoid this happening in the future.
Yeah, I give her an opportunity to make amends.
Yeah,
always
give. It's not even a matter of making amends for me because like I knew, like I could tell it was unintentional.
It's a matter of personal growth and understanding what the mistake they've made.
Yeah, plus
for sure.
If I'm being honest with you, it's like I don't want her to be in a situation where like she's having to talk with HR over something like she genuinely didn't understand was a problem.
Absolutely, right.
Like that's my main concern. Because for the most part, I'm like, yeah, like you were just dumb, but like in her case, though, it's like, no, this is fucking different.
All right. Well, I always try and take the time to educate people if I think, and I always try to take the time to be educated when I know somebody's speaking from experience. All right, everyone. Listen, it has been a fun night, and thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be here at 11 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be on for about 2.5 hours as we usually are. And you can always reach us on the For We Are Money, we are not money. We are certainly not money. For We Are Many discussion group. If you need the information on that, it's going to pop up in a minute anyway. All right, everybody, have a good night. Cheers. Oh, and sorry, we're still live, so consider donating to the East Coast Principles Unity Book Tour being put on by Hy Thurman and Kwame Che-Shakur.
All right, everyone, have a good night. See you next week.
Absolute freedom. reflections. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Just don't worry about it. Learn how to use what